Hi guys, my name is Dylan and today we will be touring around Maluri. Let's go. Right, it's actually very messy, but no worries. Just look at the red color boundary, right? This part is actually Maluri. So Maluri is actually a very residential area. As you can see, this part of Maluri, it's mostly a lot of landed houses. And then the surprising thing is just right beside, right? Like literally right beside, you have a Royal Selangor golf course. Then TRX will be just here. So one thing special about like Maluri, this area, it's just recently developed within just a few years. They started off developing this AEON Maluri, which is just right around the corner down here, all right? And then this will then be the very popular Sunway Velocity. Okay, this is Sunway Velocity, and then Velocity, you have few condos here, Velocity 1, 2, 3, and I don't know if there's 4 or 5, but there are a lot of barren lands over here as well. Okay, so this Sunway Velocity, I would say it's like a Bangsa South concept, where you have a lot of condos linking up all together, but then it's not fully developed like Bangsa South yet for now. So this is then the Velocity area, okay? And then right down here, you will have an MRT station, MRT Maluri, okay? So Maluri area is actually surrounded by multiple highways. Like you literally have Jalan CHERAS, Jalan Lock U that literally links you from Kajang all the way to KLCC. And then you have, further down you have MRR2, just right down, you can go up to Batu Cave. And then just right around the corner, just right beside, right, you have TRX, you have Bukit Bintang, Berjaya Times Square over here, okay, Bukit Bintang. And then further down, you then have KLCC. So everything is actually just right around the corner for Maluri, and that explains the price per square feet in this area. The new launch is actually going for 900 to 1,000 ringgit per square feet each, if not mistaken. Alright, so this will then be the Velocity part, and then just right beside here will be the Cochrane part. Cochrane is where MyTown and IKEA is, and you can, like, it's literally, there is so many roads that links you up to TRX, which is just around the corner right here. So here it's selling for 2,000 per square feet. Here, if it's selling for 1,000, do you think it's worth or not? So let's check out the area first. Let's go. Maluri, right? In the recent years, Maluri is always associated with Sunway Velocity. I believe Sunway Velocity has sort of became the branding or the anchor of Maluri in a sense because of it being located very near to TRX, that's one thing. Second thing, it has few MRT stations including the Cochrane one. So today now, I am in Velocity and I will be walking to AEON Maluri, and I'll be walking to one Cochrane, IKEA that area, to find out how near is it actually to TRX and also to all the MRT stations and see whether is it really that livable in this area. Let's go. Okay, so now we are in the basement where basically we have a lot of food over here, eateries over here, and now it's actually still quite early in the morning. It's I think around near to 11 a.m. So the crowd is not that packed yet in a sense. Everyone is still actually just chilling around here. And there's one thing special about Velocity is the Nanjing Street. So I'll let you guys have a look at the Nanjing Street. It's basically a China street full of China food. So let's go and check it out. Is it only me or is everyone easily got lost in Velocity? Because I always get lost in Velocity, as it's actually like it's actually a sphere in a sense. So when it's a sphere, I can't really remember, you know, which shop should I exit, which shop should I exit to the Nanjing Street, which shop should I, you know, go down or go up. Yeah, so it's a bit confusing in a sense. Personally, I'm more of a Mid-Valley guy. So I'm very used to, I've been going there since young. But Velocity, I believe it's actually completed in 2017 or 2018. Around there. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe it's around there. And initially, I thought like, wow, this mall cannot. The crowd wasn't that packed. But then initially, I only saw this Velocity as a normal mall, okay, but what I realized many years later is actually more than just a mall. It's actually like a centerpiece of Maluri or even Sunway Velocity 1 and 2, their own developments, where it's a mixed development concept where all bridge links to all the residents. Yeah, so it's something very special. So if you think of it as a normal mall, it's not really that wow. I personally feel that. But if you think of it as a mixed development, for example, Bangsa South or Mont Kiara, then it's really very convincing. It's really very good in a sense. And you see, it's like only 11, but the crowd to travel to China, it's near, I think, very packed, you know, considering that it's actually in the morning. It's very packed. A lot of people are actually traveling here, and so nice. So actually now we are outside of Velocity, so we can have a look. Right further down there, you know, there is this very signature building called M Vertica. It's actually not part of Velocity actually, or Maluri. It's actually, I think, Taman Pertama. But then it's considerably very near because they actually built a covered walkway that connects us to the MRT station of Maluri, right? And for those MRT Maluri station, they will be using this bridge that links actually from the mall itself. This is the mall. It actually links the mall. You cross the bridge here, then you will go down, right? Then you just keep going straight there. I'm not sure if you guys can see, but there is actually AEON Maluri, and that's like the OG place of the LRT station and the MRT station right over there. So because I really lost my way to Nanjing Street, so I managed to find one of the exit first. So let's just walk around this area. And if you can see, it actually consists of some of the older apartments right over there, but a lot of new developments are just popping up over here. And I believe this will be La Ville. And this is actually Una. And then I think right around this area here you have Velocity 1, which is their first phase. And then right behind, over here, you will have another building. This is, I think, Velocity 2. So right behind here is actually Cochrane, and it reaches us to TRX already. So it's I always assume Velocity like something like Bangsa South in a sense, because it has a lot of condos popping up, a lot of you know, developments just popping up over here, but then the demand seems to keep coming over. The supply is very high, but the demand is also very high. And I wonder why actually. Yeah. So let's check out. For own stay / investment / hybrid style or whatsoever, right? So pedestrian friendliness is very important, and from what I see, as long as you have a link bridge that links to Velocity 2, okay, and there is a proper pedestrian walkway, even though there is no covered walkway, it's fine. I believe it's very fine. And this is just, of course, the Velocity part. So nice, condos popping up again. And this is Una. So far so good on the pedestrian friendliness in Velocity. So we haven't checked out AEON Maluri side, the MRT side, and we haven't checked out the Cochrane side. So we will be visiting these three areas first. And one thing I realized, right, this is, I think it's one of the corporate offices, this one. I think this is Velocity 2, and they have a corporate office. And no matter how, right, they will always have retail lots. Okay, over here. And then for Una, right over there, there are also some shop lots over there. So one thing that I pick up around this location, right, is actually no matter how near you are to the mall, they will always have a, you know, some of the bigger brands' name right below their condos. And I believe the people who are actually staying here, residing here, or renting here, right, they need convenience. They need convenience, proximity to TRX and whatsoever. And right in front will be TRX already. So you see how near is it to TRX just from Velocity over here. So actually before coming over here, because I'm not very familiar with this area, so I did some research first. And from what I know, they actually have a link bridge that even crosses to Cochrane side, to IKEA side. And this actually, from what I understand, right, this is actually an added value by the developer, because they understand that people will be complaining, or because the nearer one is actually AEON Maluri, but some of them will be complaining, oh, I actually prefer, I want to go IKEA, then how I have to drive so near yet so far. No, actually they have a bridge that is being built that you can actually walk towards the MRT Cochrane and then to IKEA side. So this is something that is actually, I really like this developer's effort of solving clients, right, their concerns. So it's, yeah, something very good. And don't be like me, don't walk along the pathway when it's a very sunny day. You can walk inside the mall, and that actually links us to the Cochrane Bridge. So right, I believe their first phase is actually called V Residence. Okay, so it's actually their phase 1. According to my understanding, they actually have Sunway Velocity, okay, V Residence, Velocity 2, and now they are actually selling Velocity 3. Upcoming, maybe their Velocity 4 and 5. The 4 and 5 not confirmed, not too sure, but I do see some land hoarding. Not too sure is Velocity 4 or 5, or they will change other name lah. Okay, this is not a guaranteed news, but this is what I actually did some research, and this is what I saw lah. Okay, so now let me see the bridge that I've always been talking about. Yeah, but I think Malaysians are actually they're actually, you know, after coming back from overseas, right, traveling, I still feel that Malaysia is actually one of the very friendly countries, because when we were in Sweden, just a side topic, we were actually in Sweden, right, the Swedish are actually very, very kind, but the immigrants over there, I don't want to mention the race or what, they are exceptionally rude to tourists like us. You know, they're exceptionally rude. You know, they'll be racist to you, where actually all of us are immigrants in a way, like if we were to go there and stay, right? So yeah, and for Malaysians just now, you know, just how you can see a Grab driver actually just saying, you know, doing a peace sign to us. So actually Malaysia is still one of the best countries to stay in lah. Okay guys, now we have finally reached the bridge. Then that area over there is actually the Cochrane side already. Okay, so if you can notice, the shop lots over here are actually relatively old. It also means that this area is actually a very old area initially, and then it is being revamped. And from what I know, last time this Velocity site was actually just an empty land, empty barren land, forest land like that. And then this developer actually took over, and you know, he just slowly did revamp, redevelop, develop. And yeah, I believe, if you ask me, I don't think the locals will like, especially those who are staying in those apartments, because they'll be saying, wow, so much dust initially and whatsoever, right? But when the development is actually fully up, then I think it's very convenient for all of us. So let's check out the bridge. Let's go. Landscaping. Okay, this is their development, and I think up here is the Nanjing Street, but I don't really know how to go up. Very confusing, but let's check out the bridge first. Nice landscape though, to be honest. Oh yeah, I totally forgotten about it, but there is a medical center here, and this actually is one of the main reasons why a lot of people want to stay, because it's like Sunway Pyramid, Sunway Geo, that area, Subang area, where you have medical center, you have like a mall like this. Oh, and I reached Nanjing Street. Okay. Yeah, this is actually Nanjing Street. Make a short detour, and yeah, this is actually where there are a lot of Chinese shop over here. You have the standard skin appointment basis shop, you have clinics, you have a lot of hot pots over here, and you have some yogas, you have some yoga centers, Pilates centers. Yeah, basically what you see online that is very viral, everything will be here. And then we will be going to MRT Cochrane. So let's medical center, okay? And when I see there's a hotel, I will definitely know there will be a demand for Airbnb, because hotels are expensive. Per night, let's say it's 300 to 400 ringgit. Airbnb is generally like 70% of the price lah. So which means for whoever who wants to do Airbnb in Velocity area, I believe there will be a demand, not mainly just focusing on medical, of course, because it's proximity to TRX. And now, just now, we were below down there, and we are now on the bridge. So let's see the condition of the pedestrian bridge first. First things first, very good. Not aircon, it's okay, as long as there's wind. And there will be lights, of course. A lot of people actually using it. And oh my goodness, how near we are to, almost fell down just now, how near we are to MyTown. Super near way, damn near. I think now we are actually just in the earlier part of the video, right? Until this part, for those who actually see the resemblance of Bangsar South convenience and everything, do let me know in the comment section below, because I myself, I do see the resemblance, but the commercial elements here then will be mainly for leisure, but then for Bangsar South side, it will be mostly corporate offices style, and even the food choices there are quite limited. Here is like a legitimate shopping mall, but over there, Bangsar South, you have Mid Valley right across the street, so it's not really that relevant in a sense lah. So yeah, and barren land right over there, another barren land. So if I'm a developer, I will definitely be wanting to build things up here. Okay, just I think 3 minutes short walk, we have actually arrived at Cochrane station, and they tell you, okay, this is, you know, the end of Velocity, which means this bridge, everything is actually built by them. I'm quite assured that. Okay, so we have arrived at the Cochrane station, and just now we were just right there, right over there. Okay, so it's a totally different area again, and the proximity to TRX will be actually nearer, because now we are at MyTown, and for Cochrane station, if not mistaken, it will be just one stop away from TRX. Okay, so we are at the green line, so it's MRT station. If not mistaken, it's MRT 1. So earlier we are at this Maluri station, but then we haven't really went there, so later we will head over there. And you can see P means park and ride. And then next station will be Cochrane, so which generally it should mean Cochrane should be more expensive compared to Maluri, because Cochrane is just one station next to TRX, which is actually just the hub for us to transit. So we can see we can transit to yellow line, then we can go to the orange line, and etc. So everything will be quite convenient, not quite super convenient. And then after TRX, the next stop will be going to Bukit Bintang. Okay, so everything is actually just very convenient over here to Pasar Seni and everything. So it's literally like the tourist line, if you were to see, and of course the workers, employees line as well, because you work at TRX, you can work at Bukit Bintang, you can work at, mainly these two areas. For tourists, you can go on to Pasar Seni, to museum, and even to Merdeka station. So let's check it out. Wow, you actually have one full map. I don't need to stand outside. Okay, this is another map again, so it's a similar thing. And one thing I really like about MRT stations, right, it's actually the same standard as those, those international, so-called international countries, or very international friendly countries. Because I think our MRT station is not like, a lot of people think, oh, I don't take a train, because they always assume the train is the KTM station. Undeniably, KTM station is actually quite lousy, quite run down, okay, and the frequency is very slow. But then for MRT, it's a total different thing. Let's just assume, or let's just imagine actually the MRT station is as per those developed countries, it's actually as frequent as that, and they do have aircons here. So let's head to the MRT station first. Let's go. MyTown. So you can see the crowd moving towards MyTown. So literally, right, MyTown or IKEA, these two is actually linked together, and then it's like literally linked with an MRT station just right underground. So temporarily, just being in the middle or the earlier part of the video, right, I can already understand that these two malls, right, Velocity and MyTown, is actually very, very convenient. You have MRT stations just going or intersecting into the mall. So it's literally like KLCC or Pavilion Bukit Bintang standard already, where even Mid Valley, even you say the gardens, right? LRT Abdullah Hukum is not really that convenient in a sense as well, but this is like literally just pop inside. So kudos to the government or whoever who built this. It's really very nice, and look at the crowd. Very nice. So I believe there will be more shops opening up over here lah, because if I am a capitalist, there will be a lot of people walking here, and I will open some stalls here to catch some attention, or do some business. When people say taking MRT you will slim, definitely it's true, because you really walk a lot. So those who want to slim down, just take MRT. Okay, we have now officially arrived at MyTown, and actually the food choices here I think is rather similar, if not better than Velocity, because I think first of all here, right, it's I think catering a little bit more for locals in a sense, but Velocity side it's have a mixture of Chinese tourists from China and other expats as well. I'm not too sure why there you have more Chinese over there, China tourists over there, but over here it's mainly more locals, which I think the price will be slightly more affordable, because I've been here a few times and yeah, it's actually better. So this is like the lower basement or the basement of MyTown. So now we are actually outside of MyTown, and not too sure if you guys can see. Let me just walk closer. Okay, and zoom in. This plot of land, it says Sunway property, so I think it's going to be another development soon. Okay. It's definitely going to be another development soon over here popping up. And actually the hoarding has been there for some time, I believe, because it has been faded a little bit. And then right across here you have Triumph Retail, or BBP. So it's actually another development. I believe it will be more on commercial side. So yeah, just have a look at it. Just imagine here, one more building up here, because it's commercial, half size, and yeah, literally the view will all be blocked. And those are all the older addresses, so you have a lot of older apartments over there. And if not mistaken, just right down this road, right? Just right down this road, you can reach Pavilion Bukit Bintang very easily. But as always, with convenience comes with traffic jam. During weekdays over here, there will be a jam. Definitely there will be a jam. And just by looking at Saturday, now it's Saturday morning or noon, you can see the cars are actually quite piling up. Even the car parks earlier are not as easy to be found. And then the MRT station, just now we were there, you can see the car parks are actually quite half full, considering that it's actually a weekend. So people do take MRT stations to shopping now. Then actually some of you all will debate, oh, Cochrane, MyTown over here doesn't belong to Maluri. Some will say it's yes or no. But for me, actually, boundaries like this doesn't really matter a lot. But for me, it's how connected those addresses are. Like we can see, right, Velocity connecting to MyTown is actually very near. And then for MyTown, if you want to go to Maluri, AEON Maluri, it's quite far, I would say. So you have to go through Velocity. Then for me, Velocity then will be a more strategic part if you are thinking about these three locations. But if you are aiming for proximity to TRX or proximity to Pavilion Bukit Bintang, then MyTown Cochrane side will then be a more strategic one. Because for Velocity, you walk to Maluri, Cochrane will be around 300 to 400 meters. But then if I were to stay in Cochrane itself, it will be just like literally next door. So this is something to take note as well. So it depends on what you want what you want in your life. It's 11:30 in the morning, and you can see the crowd is actually piling up. So which means MyTown, despite not being a very, I would say, mega mall, but it actually attracts a lot of local tourists. Local tourists are actually locals over here. And because of IKEA as well, so it makes this place, people visiting this place more frequent in a sense. So I will not tour around the mall because that's not the main motive, even though I want to enjoy the aircon. So I will be going back to Velocity side and let's check. This is actually the car park that I mentioned over there just now. Just now we were just over there, but I took a very big detour. Normally it's like this one. When there is an underground thing, right, your distance of walking will be further. But if you are not afraid of the sun and if it's pedestrian friendly, allowable, like you can cross the road like this, then you can directly cross, then it's very near. If not, it's quite far. I actually walked quite a few minutes to find the underground tunnel. And welcome back to Sunway Velocity. So let's check out Maluri now. Let's go. So just see the amount of people inside this Chinese convenience store. Because Chinese convenience store, right? China's Chinese convenience store is very different from Malaysian's one. The things that they sell is very different. And now, you see, like over there, behind there, right, will be MRT Cochrane, and now will be MRT Maluri. Okay. And we do have actually a Sunway college over here, which I didn't know about it until just now. There is a college over here. And the smell of the food is damn nice. All those guo, those hot pots. Yeah, so basically this is like, Nanjing Street. It's actually a mixed development where upstairs you have some office suites and downstairs you have some shop lots, and then further down there will be Velocity Mall. I'm not too sure is it me or what, but I feel that I really don't manage to find where is Sunway Velocity, the V Suite or V Residence. Or maybe I just missed out or I didn't went there. But then for Bangsar South, because I always compare the similarity, Bangsar South will be easier to find the condos because it's actually separated aside of VE residence. But here, because you have V residence right on top, it's actually quite confusing. So yeah, I'm not too sure about it. If anyone of y'all has the answer, do let me know in the comment section below. Wow, this mall is actually pet friendly. So you can go to Nanjing Street or Velo Garden Nanjing Street. So nice. Actually, I was thinking, right, the debate of the reason why there are so many expats or foreigners staying over here for Airbnb or what, right? Aside from the medical center and aside from the proximity to CHERAS, right? It's because the price of actually staying in pavilion area or TRX area is very high. Aside of the hotel rate and the Airbnb rate, you can also see the size. Example, if for 300 ringgit, maybe you can get studio size per night in pavilion area, but 300 ringgit maybe in Velocity area, just 2 stations or 1 stations away, you can get bigger size, maybe 2 rooms, 2.5 rooms, 1+1 room or whatsoever. So the price will then be different. So it depends on whether how big is your family coming over to travel. Yeah. So if it's me, if I have 5 family members, I would stay here because it's convenient. But then if it's 2 person traveling, then I will stay in Pavilion Bukit Bintang area. So it really depends on what you really want. Nice. Because in terms of the PSF, overall in Pavilion Bukit Bintang area will be around 2,000. TRX also around 2,000-ish. But then just across the street, right, according to the Google map that I showed you initially in the video, you can see the price is actually just cut by half. It's like maybe 900 to 1,000 PSF. So what is your choice then? This is something that is very debatable. Some want to be in the center part of KL. Some wants to just be 1 or 2 stations away. It's also fine. So it really depends on what you want. So you can look at this, the older buildings. Those I think previously were landed properties, but being converted to commercials, just like how it was in SS2 in PJ, where a place becomes too bustling, right? The owners of this house will then try to capitalize in a sense. So you have Basically, you have a law firm, you have some of the hot pot store again, which signifies how hot this hot pot game is in CHERAS area. There is some bingsu, you have some of another hot pot over there. So along the whole stretch will then be all commercial elements lah. Just look over here, right? How many buildings are there? How many buildings are there? Not to mention the one at Cochrane over there, right? And the amount of traffic that you have now, it's crazy. So it's very, very high density over here. It's equivalent to, you know, city center, I would say. Even the human traffic is also very high. But does it really mean that this will be a very bad investment or very not good thing? It really depends on what you see lah. If for investment standpoint, I believe this is a very good place. But for own say, then probably our KIV. It depends on what stage that I am in lah, in terms of my life. And now we have arrived at AEON Maluri, where the original bus and LRT station is at. So let's go. There is no overhead bridge lah now. So I think there will be an underground one, tunnel that links us over there probably. So let's check it out. Okay, now we are at the Maluri MRT station. So there are 4 axes, A, B, C and D. I believe I'm at B now. So I can actually cross to A. I assume I can definitely cross over there. And just look at the schedule, the train schedule, everything is actually just listed on the board and I really love it. And I of course know that there will be apps for it. But then for people like maybe I don't take MRT to work, but if I were to take once in a while, I download the app, it's so inconvenient. I just look at the board and I can see the answer. So I love it. And of course, if anything, you can just wait at the MRT station because the MRT station is quite frequent in terms of the train. Nice. Actually, from Cochrane to AEON Maluri side is actually just one station. And it's actually not far, to be honest. But because of the weather, right, it makes everything so difficult to walk. So that's one concern about Malaysia. It's really very difficult to walk from station to station. But then, you know, for those who are taking MRT, they won't be walking ma. They'll be just walking to their destination and go back to the MRT. But for me, I walk from MRT station to station. So that's why it's quite far. So as you can see, this is the LRT mixed MRT station. So in a way, we have literally been to 3 malls within this hour, right? The crowd doesn't seem to be decreasing, even though it's just AEON Maluri or MyTown, IKEA or Velocity. Every mall serves different purposes, and nothing seems to be, you know, the crowd doesn't seem to be reducing. Everyone has his own target client as well. Nice. So now we have arrived. I think it's quite normal for MRT stations to be connecting to food area because it's underground and food is always underground, food section. So let's head upstairs to have a look at a quick peep at the AEON Mall. Let's go. I think this mall is actually mainly AEON, some popular, and mostly food, if not mistaken. Just a rough glance of the mall, I think it's mostly food. I haven't really went up to the highest floor, but I think it will be something similar with KL Gateway. But I think here will be more crowd lah, because there is, you know, AEON over here. Okay guys, so I'm actually in China now. So I remembered I forgot to do a closing about Maluri area, and I look very tired because it's indeed very tiring. But let's do a summary on Maluri CHERAS area. Okay, so when we look at the 5 main things, right, let's look at first thing, connectivity. Okay, Maluri area, basically it's the main road is actually Jalan CHERAS that actually links from Kajang all the way up to TRX area. So I think connectivity wise, right, it's no joke lah. It's like very convenient to city center, especially if you're working there or if you're as a tourist. If you were to look at places to stay in KL, actually Velocity area or Maluri area is one of the better place in a sense of value lah. That's one thing. I think so. First thing first, connectivity is definitely a no-brainer. I think everyone can agree to that because if I want to go, like I said, KL, I want to go PJ slightly further, but I want to go Kepong or Mont Kiara, all of these locations will not be that much of an issue lah. Okay, so that's one thing. So the second point will then be greenery. Okay, greeneries then I can say it's literally near to zero. It's basically a bit like Old Klang Road in a sense that it's so bustling, you know, the traffic's there is just so heavy, so hectic in a sense because you know it's city center in a way. So definitely there will be near to zero greenery. It's just concrete buildings over and over again. And the only taman greenery will then be Taman Pudu Ulu. I think there is one very nice recreational park over there. So greenery wise, I don't think there is. Okay, so point 3 will then be commercial elements or shopping mall. So I think commercial element, if we are talking about F&Bs, whatsoever, you know, groceries, you know, fashion, lifestyle, even education, right? Everything is just literally available in Maluri. AEON Maluri is mostly F&B. Sun Velocity is like a legit mall, and then MyTown is also like a legit mall, and you have IKEA just in MyTown as well. So I think in terms of commercial elements, it's actually a no-brainer because it's like I'm just right beside the city, but then you know I get to buy some local groceries, especially AEON, which is very affordable. Okay, so I think point number 3, not much of an issue. Definitely a point given to Maluri area. But just one more thing that I want to mention, that connectivity, just now I forgot to say, MRT is part of the connectivity in a sense. So yeah, definitely it's very convenient. One station to TRX if I'm from Cochrane, 2 stations if I'm from Maluri area. Okay, so then point number 4 will then be office elements. Well, office elements, if we are just looking in Maluri area itself, I don't see any, but most of them are actually in Pavilion Bukit Bintang, in a TRX area, because it's just like I mentioned, 2 stations or 1 station away. So I think inside here itself, no, but then nearby you have Chan Sao Lin as well, Southgate, you have TRX, you have Bukit Bintang. So not much of an issue in terms of offices. Last but not least will then be pedestrian friendliness. So pedestrian friendliness, I think, right, even though it's developed later than Bangsar South, but I think it's actually on par or even better than Bangsar South in a sense, because there are so many link bridge. Like for example, Velocity, right? If you imagine, it's actually just a centerpiece of Maluri. You go straight, they even do a link bridge for you to MyTown, Cochrane Station. Or if you say you want to go to Maluri Station, also okay. They actually have the pedestrian-friendly bridge as well, and even covered walkways. So that is actually a very, very good plus point. But one thing that I noticed is they are very smart. Velocity itself, they don't have MRT stations, so they use bridge covered walkways to compensate their losses or their disadvantage in a sense. So I think Maluri area in general, it's actually a 4 out of 5. Mainly will I stay? I don't think I want to stay in such a bustling area, but will I invest? I think it's a no-brainer, regardless of how many supplies that will be popping up. It just doesn't make sense because the demand will keep coming in, just like Bangsar South, just like in Mont Kiara. No matter how many high rises will there be coming up, workers, expats, white collars, employees will still be coming over here. So I think it has a constant supply and demand overall in Maluri area. So it's more an investment place rather than own stay, in my honest opinion. Of course, it depends on which phase of your life, that you are in. If you are retiring, I don't think it's suitable. But if you are still hustling and your office is just right in Bukit Bintang, I think it's actually an okay buy for a hybrid stay, as in to own stay and then to rent it out